Oh, okay. So I got this guy, Brian Bigglesworth, who is, I think, an apologist. What his name's? That's not it. That's not his name. It was something like that. I don't care. Yeah, Brian Bigglesworth. It's something. I don't care. I don't care. Okay, doesn't matter. Anyway, he's saying that we're all in a cult or something. So I don't know. We're gonna get into it, I guess. I am I am Brentley, and this is the Punk Apostate. Let's go. No, you're in a cult, okay? Your face is actually everybody's actually in a cult because it's just, as long as I define a cult as everything, then yeah, okay. Yeah, who's in the cult now? You are. That's right. That's kind of feels like what he's doing here, but here we go.
Possible outcomes to the
Creepy intro music there, man. Makes me feel like I'm in a horror movie that is of the Catholic genre, who is, which is a which is a horror genre, which is kind of weird.
probably one of the most repugnant possible outcomes to the modern, enlightened, and secular mind.
Are you a chef? Why is he? Does he looks like he looks like he's dressed like a chef. Is he also a chef on the side?
Is to find yourself entangled and captured in a cult. But here's the thing. Nobody who finds themselves in that position thinks they're in a cult, which is one of the reasons it's so hard to get people out once they're in. If you accuse them of being in a cult, they'd likely be just as offended as you or I would, which raises a difficult question, which is how do you know you're not in one? Part of the problem with this word is that it's so vaguely defined in the modern world. It used to simply mean worship. It was a word that was a close approximation.
Cult just meant worship, just anything, just any worship. Okay.
What we mean by the word religion today.
That makes sense. It's almost kind of hard to tell the difference, to be completely honest. And it's really interesting because when you start looking at like where religion ends and cults begin is quite murky. Kind of just like, I don't know. At some point, you get too dedicated to the religion, and now it's a cult. Right? I mean, maybe the fact that it's smaller a lot of times, that it's more isolated a lot of times, that there's more, but I mean, like JW and stuff, I think would be considered a cult, right? Which, and rightfully so, because a lot of it has to do with like how they treat apostates, right? Like that's a big part of it. It's like you are cut off, you lose your entire community, like full stop, no friend. You can't talk to people if they have left the Jehovah's Witness, if people are familiar with the JW shorthand. Which I get it. I'm bad at shorthand. I always get, I'd be like, John's waist. Why is we talking about John's waist? I don't even know what does that have to do with anything. John, I know his waist looks weird and everything, but what are we talking about anyway?
Cult in the classical sense was simply a reference to what certain people worshipped. That was their cult. And of course, at one time, everybody worshipped something, and they were honest about that. But today, the word cult
and they were honest about that. I feel like I know where he's going with this. He's like, you worship stuff and you're just lying about it. That's right. You're just lying about the fact that you're clearly worshiping stuff and acting like you're not.
Has come to define specific kinds of religious communities, which, in addition to having an object of worship, can also be characterized by extreme forms of like psychological manipulation.
That's Jesus right there, yo. Just so you know. This is right before he gets put on the cross.
Social pressure and threat of exclusion or even expulsion for deviation from a strict adherence to the beliefs of the corporate body.
Yeah, that never happens in religion.
And whichever way you define it, either the more classical or the more modern, I think both are a fair description of what has become of modern culture. Because if you resign yourself to the default social pressures of today and the conventional wisdom of the day and the message of the day,
which the conventional wisdom you get from The View. Yeah, that's where we get our conventional wisdom from, okay, and Stephen Colbert, I guess, they are, but he's pretty wisdomous,
the one that is forcefully imposed by every facet of popular culture, you are likely under the
Oh, because it's a guy, and of course he's got to show something with the vaccine. It's like it's very culty to like not like believe in actual science.
spell of everything we mean by the word cult. Unlike those who are under the influence of a cult, most people today have no clue that they've fallen prey to it. True worship has become so foreign to most modern people that it's easy to fail to notice when we're doing it by accident. Because
when you're accidentally worshiping, no, that's not what he said. He couldn't have possibly said something that stupid.
Fallen prey to it. True worship has become so foreign to most modern people that it's easy to fail to notice when we're doing it by accident.
Yeah, I see he's talking about worship. My God, how the hell do you worship stuff without realizing it, man? That is just complete. They always equivocate the word worship for the word like, it just they enjoy, right? Just anything that you like and enjoy, that's worship. Like, that's not worship, man. Like, worship is what y'all do when you have are waving your hands up in the air at church and you're like, Jesus is amazing, I want your blood all over my face, whatever, all that's worship. Okay, like, I don't say that about Taylor Swift, even though I do love Taylor Swift, but I would never say that I want her blood all over my face.
Because worship is whatever we place as our highest good. You could say our summum bonum. It's the thing that conditions all the other goods we pursue in this life. It's the end.
The what? Hold on.
Because worship is whatever we place as our highest good. You could say our summum bonum.
Why would we say that? Why? I know we could say that, but I could say babba-da-doo bap-ba-dee-bap, but it doesn't mean anything. Why would we say that?
It's the thing that conditions all the other goods we pursue in this life. It's the end for which all other goods serve. And it's the thing we refuse to
He's never going to define that, is he? He's never going to be like that. Here's why I said those weird words. Like, you're never going to tell us why?
Compromise when other goods compete with it.
Are those weird words like words that people normally know? Chat, do you all know what the weird words he was just saying are? Like, what would do you all know what was that, like Latin that just everybody knows but me?
It's also the thing we honor above all else. And here's the thing, having a supreme good is actually unavoidable. There will always be some one thing at the top of our hierarchy, the thing we value the most. And because it acquires this status of honor in our lives, it's perfectly fitting to say that we worship it, because it is the thing.
Oh God, that almost feels like that ontological crap of like that a maximally great being. He's like, there's always going to be something that you value the most, but most is relative. Like, yeah, of course, because people value things, and something has to be the one that gets the most value in your brain. Like, so what? That doesn't mean you worship it, dude.
We ascribe the most worth.
Like, what if your health is the thing that you value the most? Does that mean you worship your health? Come on, man.
Too, which is literally what worship means. We can pacify ourselves all we want.
What does literally what?
Perfectly fitting to say that we worship it, because it is the thing we ascribe the most worth to, which is literally what worship means.
Okay, so, according to what definition? You're like, it's like literally what worship means. According to which definition, man? Because like, that's not what anybody means when they say the word worship. They're like, I don't know, just whatever you value the most. Even if you don't value it that much, it's just if it's valued more than other stuff, then you worship it. What? That's not what the hell are you talking about, man?
We can pacify ourselves all we want with comforting notions of our liberation from the superstitions of religion, but as soon as we remove God as the object of our worship, something else will always take his place.
What do you think it's going to be, y'all? We got to start taking bets. What do y'all think? And I'm going to be honest, I did watch a little ways into this one. It surprised me what we are actually worshiping without realizing it. Of course. What do y'all think it is? I'm gonna take a look at the chat here. Well, let's first of all, actually, let's see who won, and then, but seriously, while I'm checking to see who won, Let me know what you think. Tell me what you think is going to be what us atheists that don't believe in God, like what are we worshiping without even realizing it? What do you think it is? It's kind of fun. But let's see who won today. Or here, I'll do it over here. That way I don't have to rely on an unreliable device. Here we go. Okay. Who we got here? Oh, we got PC. Pragmatic Crystal. How you doing? What's up? Oh, yeah. And please, if you don't mind, like, share, subscribe, comment below. Because I want to hear from you. No, I actually do want to hear from. I'm saying it like I'm being sarcastic, but I actually do want to hear. Anyway, you know what? But yeah, like, share, subscribe, and Pragmatic Chris, you are never first. What is going on here? This is crazy. Hold on. Oh, and we got all of my big PCs doing the wrench stuff. This is what the wrenches do on their spare time. They give us links to all of our stuff. Let's see. And here's the oh wait, PC is now a contender. Yeah. See, they even know it's crazy. For first place, we're doomed. The rest of us. I know, because PC has like magical powers and they can be everywhere all the time. I actually, you know what's weird? I don't know as if I know pronouns. We need to start providing pronouns because it's come to my attention that I've been messing them up a little bit. So please let me know your pronouns so I don't mess them up. But anyway, all right. But PC was first. That's awesome. Hell yeah. And we are all in trouble because again, they're omnipresent. Like PC is omnipresent. I've seen them in like 7 different chats or 7 different live chats for different videos all at the same time, all doing modding, all at the same. It's incredible. So it's almost I don't even know how it's possible, but apparently it is. And then, all right, who's second? Pandora's Pinata. How you doing? What's up? Hell yeah. Wait, PC is now contending for the first place. We're doomed. Oh wait, that was your comment. I thought that was PC's comment. That's funny. It's because the P, right? Lex sticks you, it messes with your eyes and focus and stuff. Anyway, all right. That's why they went from being not a member to being a member. I was so confused. I was like, did they just become a member? Never mind. You know what? And third place is the Shaken Fist. How you doing? Who's, I guess, streaming right now. I guess they're streaming at this very second. The same as us, but don't go watch their. You can always watch their stuff afterwards. Mine goes straight to members sometimes, so you got to watch it live. Otherwise, you might miss them. All right, who was that? All 3? Yeah, that was first was PC, second Pandora's Pinata, and third was Shaken Fist. All right, cool. Well, who else we got here? We have got Rainbow Ash. How you doing? What's up? We have got Anarchic Fox. What's up, dude? Doing all right? It's good to see you, man. It's been a minute. I think I saw you in the line the other day. Not on the line, but in the chat. You know what I mean? Forget it. And whoa, that's crazy. Punk Metal Tao has been a member for 9 months. Thank you so much for that. Holy shit, that's awesome. You have provided tens of dollars to my to my bank account, which I actually really need it. All those tens of dollars really do help. We also got Michael. Oh wait, what does the comment say? It said, never approach Kustakinchikin. What? Hold on. Kustakin. I feel like I should be able to say this. Crustaceans. Is that a crustacean? No, I don't know what the word is. Insect hybrids. They tend to be crabby. That is a zoological joke, and I'm sure it's very funny. I don't really get it. I don't get it. I feel like it's an amalgamation of different. You know what? I feel. Where's Bree? Bree would love this. she would get that. And Michael, how you doing, man? I said, Michael said, the life cycle of religion, a group of like minds with an enthusiastic leader equals cult. Time and acceptance equals religion. Yeah. Time and education equals mythology. Nice. Oh, you added some. More time equals an occasional fun read. Yeah. Good call. I like that. Got Baba. How you doing, Baba? What's up? Is he doing a Jordan Peterson? Kinda. I mean, I guess I feel like Jordan Peterson wouldn't even just call everything a cult, right? This just all culture. All culture is actually a cult based on its definition. Um, it might be so. I don't know. I don't. That's not. I can do the voice somewhat of Jordan Peterson. Can't really do the words because it's hard to come up with a bunch of bullshit that fast. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of anyway. Ember, how you doing, Ember? Hanging in there. What's up? I'm hanging in there. I'm saying, she was like, I'm doing great. How are you doing? I'm like, I'm hanging in there. Anyway, I said, oh, our favorite sophist. Is it really? You know this jabroni? Is it racist? I don't. Somebody needs to let me know if that word's racist. It feels racist to say jabroni, but I don't. I'm hoping it's not because I say it a lot. Anyway, but all right, back to the sophist, the sophist of the sophists.
And in our case, it has. And just like members of any cult, modern.
Wait, what's it? Sorry, hold on. We gotta go back for some context. I'm sorry, yo.
As soon as we remove God as the object of our worship,
that's right.
Something else will always take his place. And in our case, it has.
Oh, did we know? All right, who decided? All right, what did y'all think it was? Did anybody make any guesses? Let me get down. I don't know if anybody said. We say if you watch PC's channel, you'd know what. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting that PC has a channel. Wait, I gotta go watch some PC. Get my PC fix. All right. Did anybody guess as to what? It's okay. You just watch.
And just like members of any cult, modern, secular, non-theistic culture is under the delusion.
It's not much derision. He says, non-theistic, atheistic culture. Ugh.
That it doesn't worship anything because it doesn't name the thing it worships. Just like members of.
No, we just don't worship anything. There's not a thing that we worship. We just don't. We just don't have, we don't just bow down to anything and say, oh, we love this, whatever it is. We just don't worship stuff, man. We don't like anything that much, We're not weird.
Of any stereotypical cult, everyone who is fully enrolled in this one is utterly convinced that they exemplify the antithesis of someone captured by spiritual and psychological manipulation. But the fact that we are so comprehensively surrounded by it so as to become desensitized to it.
Comprehensively surrounded by good word usage there. Maybe he is Jordan Petersoning.
Only reinforces my thesis that the thing we obsess over, the thing we honor, the thing we allow for constant special pleading is everywhere in our culture.
What is it? So if you worship something, you allow for it to be special pleading? That's a fallacy. That's, what? Never mind. What the hell does special pleading have to do? Okay.
And remember that the root of the word culture is the word cult. That's because our cultural fixations and our expressions communicate that which we worship, which in our case is sex.
Oh, all right. Who had sex? Did you have sex? I'll give you sex for 300, Alex. No. I had myself. That's what I thought until I watched it. It was like, sex? What the fuck? Are you kidding? My goodness. And he's like, we worship sex. That's what we do. We worship it because we like it too much. That's what it is. It's weird. There's some kind of like biological pressure, it seems, to like that shit. You know what I mean? For fuck's sake.
Sex sits in the highest seat of honor in our culture.
It sure does. Oh, yeah. I love seeing sex with on my face. Wait.
Assign to it all the highest worth. We place everything else under its priority. We idolize and obsess over it. We sing songs about it. We erect monuments and banners.
We sing songs about it. We worship it just like Jesus. We talk about sex is blood just all over your face.
To reinforce our commitment to it. Think about the fact that prior to the mid-20th century, the kind of music everyone was familiar with would have a range of themes that would describe all the various aspects of life worth paying attention to.
No, it didn't. It was still about sex, okay? Even even some composers like Symphony Number 7. It's about sex. Damn it. Okay. When he was writing that, and he's like, and this would be great when you flip her over on her back and then, arch her back.
They'd be about God or work or community or adventure, and sometimes about romantic.
God or work? Who the hell sings about work? What are you talking about, man? Like, and then they brought the coffee. Oh, wait, well, that's a musical. That doesn't count. Okay. That's a totally different thing, them singing about coffee, because that was pretty weird. And them singing this bunch of songs about work was weird, but that was the musical that included that. And of course, I can't think of the name of the musical now.
Love. Today, virtually every song is about romantic love or sex.
What was that? Do y'all chat? What was the musical with the coffee song that's all about going to work or whatever?
I just quickly searched through the Billboard Top 10, and 9 of the songs were explicitly about romantic relationships, with the outlier only being slightly ambiguous in that respect. And every movie, every story we tell has a romantic subplot. If it doesn't matter if it's like sci-fi, romance.
Even Peter Parker and MJ, not Mary Jane. That's good. That might be somebody else coming up here soon. MJ. They even had some romance. What the fuck? What are you talking about, dude? This is not something that you worship. The concept of romance, the concept of love. Are you kidding me? We worship love. Like, we do love, because oh my God, this is so dumb. Of course, humans do. Like, that's, again, it's like a biological pressure. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, we're social creatures. We evolved to be social creatures. So we love our best friends. We love our intimate partners. We love our community. We love each other. That's what we do, man. Like, that's not worshiping, dude. Like, what? We're biologically programmed to love because of how helpful it has been for our species as we have developed over the hundreds of thousands of years that we have been doing it. Is it hundreds of thousands of years? It's not millions. I don't think humans have been around that long. Anyway,
drama or an action movie, the thing often driving the story is sexual ambition or
even Batman does it. Even in a Batman film. What the
frustration. Dating websites earned around $5 billion this year in the United States alone. The porn industry raked in somewhere between $10 and $90 billion in the United States.
I love how pornography more than doubles the dating app industry. Where you can actually get the stuff and I'm just gonna look at it. I'm just gonna so many more people are I'm just gonna look at other people do it, instead of trying to go out, pay money to meet somebody so that I can do it myself. I'm just going to watch somebody else do it.
United States. Why that range is so imprecise is probably because moral ambiguity breeds moral corruption, which will
that's it
always extend to the economic dimension.
You know who's never morally corrupt? Christians, ever. They're never morally corrupt at all. It's just they're just straight shooters.
Dimension of life. Around 25% of all search inquiries on the internet are for pornography. That's 1 in 4 searches are for pornography.
That makes the most sense of anything that I've ever heard in my entire life. That was when the internet first came out, and I'm a millennial, so I remember when the internet came out. That's all there was. There was 2 things. You could play Doom on your computer, and I'm saying just for the computer in general, just period. What you can do. Play Doom, look at pornography. That's it. That's all computers were for when they first came out with Windows 95. That was just, those were the only 2 things you could do. I guess you could do some Oregon Trail crap, but who likes reading your video game? It's so stupid. Come on.
And 90% of boys are exposed to pornography before the age of 18, with the average age of exposure somewhere around 12.
Wait, before the age of 18? Yeah, of course. What the? Are you serious, man? He's like, and people and boys are looking at pornography under the age of 18. Yeah, dude, no shit. You know, you hit puberty at like 12, man. So like 12 would be the normal. I mean, I don't know. This is kind of a weird point, but like, um, it just is so not a big deal to me. I don't know. I mean, people have sex. It's like the most normal thing ever. I think less normal is having children singing about torture murder. That's kind of weird, the torture, crucifixion, blood and guts, cannibalism, all that's weird, okay? Because that's stuff that you shouldn't ever do. But sex is almost ubiquitous. Like it literally is almost ubiquitous.
Every storefront, every song blaring through the grocery store speakers or the waiting room speakers is about romantic love or sex.
I like he just adds romantic love too. Like, wait, you're against romantic love? Like we talk about romance too much, Just, there's that's like the most wholesome. What is the picture that he's got here? Who is this? Who is this? Jabra? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it again. Just feel, especially when there's some ethnicity going on there. It just makes me feel like I'm right. Anyway, who is this person? Am I supposed to know this? Is it? Anyway, yeah, of course they're singing about romantic love. Like that's one of the main things that make humans feel things. Like all art in some way is about love. It's about love. Like what the fuck? Oh my god.
And it's no wonder people who are single feel so desperately lonely. Like everyone has to go through a season of being single in their lives.
Because the cult is just too much about it's all the cult's fault that people feel lonely because people love too goddamn much. What the fuck is going on?
But our culture finds this so desperately intolerable. Just talk to any single young adult and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's no wonder our eyes and our ears are relentlessly confronted with the worship of love and sex, only compounding
our eyes and who talks like this? Our eyes and our ears are perpetually confronted with love and romantic. Jesus Christ. Hey, Brent, how you doing, man? You hanging in there? What's going on? I said it's 6 a.m. I could see my breath, and the clay dirt is laughing at the weakling boy. I have no idea what's happening. Is that a song about love? Are those lyrics? Sounds like lyrics in a song about love. Well, maybe not love, but maybe some sort of like BDSM kind of thing going on. I'm not really sure, but it could be about some BDSM. And if you are into like BDSM and stuff like that, then you should go to adamandeve.com where they got all the products that can help you with your BDSM adventures. Okay, so if you want to get locked inside of a dog kennel, well, you probably will have to get the dog kennel from like a puppy store or whatever, maybe not a puppy one, maybe get one appropriately sized anyway, but they got all the restraints that you can have for it, and the lubes that will be used for whilst you are anyway. Go to adamandeve.com, enter that code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item, 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com, enter code word Brentley. That's right. Here we go. Okay, back to the fun.
Fact of our own supposed social isolation if we're single, and you really don't appreciate.
I'm sorry. I need the first part of that sentence. Your sentences are too long, buddy. Okay. Most of the time I can pause it mid-sentence and we still know what the hell is going on.
Confronted with the worship of love and sex, only compounding the fact of our own supposed social isolation if we're single. And you really don't appreciate how sexually explicit women's clothing is until you try to dress modestly. I remember when my wife started to be more deliberate about this as we were further.
Wait, what? You talking about dressing?
Relentlessly confronted with the worship of love and sex, only compounding the fact of our own supposed social isolation if we're single. And you really don't appreciate how sexually explicit women's clothing is until you try to.
I mean, I appreciate it when I'm wearing it because sometimes I do. And I got to say, the silk is nice. I like the way that it slips over my flesh, just all right over my skin, and it feels all nice and moist stuff. Okay.
Dress modestly. I remember when my wife started to be more deliberate about this as we were further waking up and liberating ourselves from the surrounding culture.
We were liberating ourselves from the surrounding culture. The fuck does that mean?
But every time she found a dress, it had some compromise to it. It was either short in length, low cut, sleeveless, or compromised in some other way.
Either showed her legs or showed her boobs, and it was just good not have either of those things. You know what? You should. They got, they sell these. What do they call? Oh yeah, potato sacks. Just get her a potato sack, okay? Just throw her in one of those. Cut some holes in the arms, and you're good to go. She doesn't need to look nice at all.
Because of course, women's clothing are designed to sacramentalize our obsession with sex.
Sacramental. That's not a word. Come on, sacramental, that's not a thing. Come on.
Promoting it in every aspect of our daily lives. And God help you if you don't worship at this same altar as everyone else. You will be singled out, re-educated, often formally in our institutions, denounced and excluded. And there are countless examples of what I'm talking about, but I'll take one recent example because it appeared in my newsfeed.
Oh, good. Now, I was hoping that it would be there would be an example here, because there's nothing I can think of when it comes to love and romance and sex and culture.
It involved an apparent feud between two of Charlie Sheen's daughters, one who is a Christian and one who is an OnlyFans model, who therefore exemplifies everything about participation in the cult that I've been describing.
It's like two opposites, like two of his daughters. Like one is a Christian that hates OnlyFans, and the other one works at OnlyFans. That's great.
And apparently the OnlyFans model deeply disapproves of her Christian sister and her beliefs. In fact, her disapproval is so unbridled.
That's not the other way around. Sure. You sure it's not the other way around? No, it's not. It's not the Christian one who disapproves of the OnlyFans one. It's the OnlyFans one that disapproves of the Christian one. What? Man, are you serious?
That she had to post a video publicly denouncing her sister for her Christian beliefs for all the world to see and hear. Because apparently the Christian sister believes in traditional views about sexuality and gender, views that have been universally held by virtually every culture throughout all of human civilization and history.
Yeah, and you know what else was sort of ubiquitous as like culture in the past? Slavery. Yeah, just because it was like everybody did it doesn't make it cool, man. Okay, it doesn't make it good. It's like, it's just so obvious that it's good, because all the cultures used to shame women into not being able to wear anything other than potato sacks, and so obviously it's a good thing.
History until it became our new religion, and like any cult, it does not tolerate dissent, even if that means dividing families, even if that means ritual public.
Wait, but dividing family, didn't Jesus say something about that? Isn't Jesus, dude, it's like you're literally getting everything backwards. This is insane. The one that doesn't do the approving is the Christian one, and is the one that, and Jesus is the one that said that he came to split up families. He like explicitly said it. And you're like, oh, it's the damn people that like sex too much, just dividing families. What the hell are you talking about, man?
Denunciation.
Holy shit.
Sure sounds cult-like to me. And anyone who is not a card-carrying member of the modern sex cult knows what this is.
I actually am a card-carrying member of the modern sex cult. And if you are as well, you might want some toys. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word, Brandon. We're gonna have a lot of ads, I think, in this video here. Just gonna see a lot of opportunity.
Is like. At some point, you'll be expected to offer a pinch of incense to the gods of sexual promiscuity, and if you don't, nobody.
I don't think we expect anybody to do any pinching of incense. Now, nips are a different story. Okay, you do got to do a little bit of nip pinching. Okay.
People say, well, to each his own. Like the OnlyFans sister, they'll expose you, they'll denounce you, and they'll put every kind of pressure upon you to conform to their religious cult. When I was in college, I had the first.
Gotta be kidding me. I wish, hold on. Can you, is there any evidence of this, man? Can you maybe put up the tweets or something, or the X's, whatever the fuck they're called? Like, put that shit up, like, because I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all, man. This is nonsense. Like, and it's weird. You're a YouTuber, dude. Like, unless you're doing what I'm doing, which is randomly reacting to shit, you should be providing like the stuff you're talking about as you're talking about it. You showed pictures of other stuff. You showed videos of your little stock footage crap. Where are the actual tweets so that we can see what, you know, this public fight was actually about?
First of what would become many experiences like this, when someone singled me out in front of one of my professors in a social setting because they had heard that I was a Christian and intent on reserving sex for marriage. And
I said, perfect transition. It's called a segue, but it basically means transition. But thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I don't get a whole lot of perfects around here, but you know, so thank you.
Both this person and my professor started to just grill me for any opening they could find to persuade me away from that resolution. And
wait, what was it? Hold on.
For marriage. Many experiences like this, when someone singled me out in front of one of my professors in a social setting because they had heard that I was a Christian and intent on reserving sex for marriage. And both this person and my professor started to just grill me for any opening they could find to persuade me away from that resolution.
They're trying to look out for you, man. Like that. It's so weird. He sees it as like this affront to him. Like he was accosted by them trying to help you, dude. Because don't do that, man. We're talking about, like, that's the type of shit that ends relationships, because people jump into relationships without knowing the person enough. And then now you've legally bounded yourself, bounded it. Never mind. Yourself to this person, so that it'll literally cost you 50% of everything if you get divorced. And so they're like, yeah, man, you might want to actually know your partner before you get married, you know, maybe even live with them. I know it's crazy to like live with the person that you plan on living with forever, but no, they were accosting you because they were like, don't do that. Don't just jump into a marriage like that when you haven't even had sex. Come on, dude. Like they're trying to help you, man. And he's like, I can't believe they just sat there and berated me for not wanting to have sex before me. No, they're just trying to help you, dude.
And why would they do that? Why did it matter so much to them what I did with my own life? It shouldn't. And yet for some reason to them, it did. I think that's
it's like the same. It's like somebody being like, I'm going to jump off the roof into that kiddie pool, you know? And we're like, don't do that. Don't do that. Why do they care so much about, you know, who jumps off roofs into which kiddie pools? And all of a sudden, everybody just has to be involved in my life. And it's like, because you're going to crack your skull, dude. It's also on the cement. You probably should at least put it in the grass. You know what I mean? That's really just exactly the wrong spot. It's summertime. Lots of soft grass around here for you to put your kiddie pool on, and you choose the cement, you idiot. Come on.
That's because my life was a manifestation of dishonor to the thing that they worship the most. This is why today...
That was not it at all. Holy Lord. What? That is so funny.
It's evolved from not just tolerating every kind of sexual expression, but the obligation to endorse and honor them. It went from tolerating...
Ecclesia, how you doing? What's going on? Doing all right? Ecclesia is everywhere as well. They do all of the line chat wrenching. They wrench all the what is it called when you do the wrenching? It's the Kevin. What is it called? It's what modding. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it. Finally did something right for a change. It's crazy that I, you know. And now I lost track of what I was talking about with. God damn it, Kevin. Why did you? Okay, you know what?
Same-sex marriage because it didn't affect you. If you don't bake this cake for my same-sex wedding, then we'll sue you. If you don't call me by my pronouns, I'm going to have you fired. You can burn the flag of your country. That's a right. That's a freedom of expression. But you better not even look at this flag.
What? Wait, you can burn. Hold on. What the fuck?
I'm going to have you fired.
Wait.
If you don't bake this cake for my
Hold on.
but the obligation to endorse and honor them. It went from tolerating same-sex marriage because it didn't affect you to, if you don't bake this cake for my same-sex wedding, then we'll sue you. If you don't call...
Dude, yeah, because it's called discrimination, man. Like, you'd say the same thing. Oh, it went from, having, like, oh, black people have to be able to learn in the same schools or whatever. You can't use the same. And then now you can't even, it went to that, to having to serve them at the same restaurants. This is bullshit. What the fuck? What is even, it's crazy. Just, you give an inch. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
Call me by my pronouns, I'm going to have you fired.
That's not a thing. If you harass somebody, like, period, it doesn't have to be even anything to do with pronouns. If you're harassing somebody, then yeah, they should get you fired. But because that's what they always do. They're like, oh, if somebody just messes up your pronouns one time, and no, it's a repeated, like, misgendering people on purpose to be hurtful. That's what gets you in trouble. Jesus Christ.
You can burn the flag of your country. That's a right. That's a freedom of expression.
And it's actually really fun too. It's just a good time for all, really. Oh, what are we going to talk about with this flag?
But you'd better not even look at this flag unless it's out of loving devotion. And this,
you can't even look at it other than in loving. So, like, we're just side tackling anybody that, like, looks at the flag wrong. Okay.
This is what happens when you displace God as the object of worship. When Europe was still Christian, the highest good, the summum bonum, the thing all other goods were conditioned by.
Hey, Maya, how you doing? What's going on? Doing all right? Anatomic Punk, what's up?
It was the worship of God and the goal of beatitude, but eventually, spurred on by the cultural fractures that the Protestant Revolution had exposed, a new philosophy became dominant. Thanks to revolutionary thinkers like Machiavelli, Locke, Rousseau, Mill, and then enshrined...
Machiavelli, he was the one that said, the end justifies the means. So, basically Trumpism.
In the political order of Great Britain and the United States, which have been the dominant empires the last 300 years, liberalism held that liberty or freedom is man's highest good, that all other moral prescriptions must be subordinate to the freedom of man.
You disagree with that? You're like, people shouldn't be free. We should have a lot fewer choices. Too many choices. That's the problem around here. If we would just all be in cages and only able to eat what's provided for by the government that dictates exactly what everybody's allowed to eat, where they can sleep, what job they can do. Wait a second, that sounds like communism. What is happening here? How are you this backwards, dude? This is just utterly insane. Blood Badger, how you doing? And see you there. Everybody's here. This is awesome. Maya said, so hold on. Maya said, I like these later streams. Oh, you do? Oh, good. Me too. I actually, I'm getting used to it. Took me a minute. I was just exhausted for a while, but yeah, getting used to it. Might even be able to get used to it enough to be able to do an evening stream again with you. So, just saying, I'm open. Anyway, Emery was saying, I find I'm getting a bit angry at Brian. I got harassed and abused at work for a dang year, and nobody got fired. Unless you count me, since I got forced out because of it. So, that's weird. So it's the opposite, literally the opposite of what this dipshit is saying. It's when you are trans, and ask people, I'm sure politely, to address you properly, you get fired. You're like, this fucking person just wants us to address them the way that they want to be addressed and not the way that I decide. Based on my bigotry, and then they get fired. My goodness.
But it wasn't a freedom that came through moral virtue or the truth of Christ, but rather a freedom that was simply declared through rights and liberties granted by the government as if it has such authority, and then protected by the refusal to insist upon any moral truth that might infringe upon such freedoms.
What? There is no moral. Hold on. I'm gonna have to go back to that. Hold on 1 second. Let me see here. Henry, how we doing, Henry? Said he's free to be a bigot. What he's complaining about, we have a bigot for president. I know it. Not the first either. No, but it will not be the last as well. So yeah, I know. They always act like they're so oppressed. And really, it's literally the opposite. They're the ones doing the oppressing. And they're like, but I don't get to oppress hard enough. And so that's oppression to them, is not being able to oppress hard enough. Jesus Christ. Frustrating. Glacy said, Canada is not immune from Brian's version of no. Oh, that's right, because he's from Canada, right? Yeah, I can hear it. I can hear it in the abouts that he's done, or the aboats, I should say. It's not a boot, okay? I know. It's a boat. Right, that's how it actually sounds to Americans, is a boat.
To the freedom of
You're out in a boat,
Liberalism held that liberty or freedom is man's highest good, that all other moral prescriptions must be subordinate to the freedom of man. But it wasn't a freedom that came through moral virtue or the truth of Christ, but rather a freedom that was simply declared through rights and liberties granted by the government as if it has such authority, and then protected.
It literally does have the authority. It's the only thing really that has the authority to be able to prescribe freedoms and which ones you got and liberties. What the fuck? Christ doesn't do any of that. In fact, y'all can't even agree as to the liberties that Christians aren't allowed to have because, denominations and shit.
By the refusal to insist upon any moral truth that might infringe upon such freedoms, and to be able to make a liberal,
because it's not true. There is no moral truth because there's no moral truth.
Democratic society actually function.
No objective moral truths, I should say.
We had to be conditioned by the virtue of tolerance.
Spooky. Hey, what's going on? When did you get in here? Just sneaking in the back like that.
We had to learn that
that's what spooky people do. They just sneak in the back and then they try to just very, very slowly get right in the middle of the room without anybody noticing. So that way, when somebody's like, hey, John, oh my God, and then they freak out. And that was spooky, just standing there, just looking like this. This is all weird and shit.
Be people who would deviate from our beliefs, lifestyle, and religion. And the only way to get along and work together would be by tolerating those differences. And this notion of tolerance was often constructed upon.
As opposed to what? Like not tolerating those differences and just kicking them in the face for being too different. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
On
Jesus.
Either a soft or even sometimes a hard moral relativism that claimed that morality is determined.
Is there a difference between, is there like a soft and hard moral relative? I don't know philosophy stuff that much to know about the soft version and the hard version of moral relativism.
Wholly by us. And the reason we know this is because at different times and in different places, you will find moral establishments or legal systems or moral.
Yeah, exactly. Rainbow Ash said. So everybody needs to tolerate his religion, but not the other way around.
Creeds that are entirely distinct from other times and places. This was and still is the undeniable exhibit of evidence offered to prove the founding beliefs of liberalism. Since there is no objective morality, freedom to define it for ourselves is our highest prerogative.
It literally, look, oh my God, this is so dumb when he's just like, oh, because liberals are the ones that say there is no objective morality. And so we are just making it up ourselves. Dude, that's already the case. Okay, man. Like in reality, it's obviously so. It's everybody's just making it up for themselves, including you with your religion. You're just justifying your subjective interpretation of what you think everybody should behave like with your belief in your God and your religion. You're just deciding what you think is good and bad, and then you're just justifying it with your religion. That's why there are so many people that disagree within your religion about what is right and what is wrong, all using the same fucking book as like the basis for what everybody should and shouldn't do, yet nobody can agree on it. It's so obviously not objective. Holy shit.
But this supposed evidence is entirely fabricated and self-refuting. As G.K. Chesterton pointed out long ago, if two forms of morality are entirely and substantially different...
It is hot today. It is really hot. I was literally mowing lawns all day, just one lawn. One really big lawn that I got to mow now. It's hot. It's really hot. It was like up in the high 80s. But in Florida, that's like in the millions.
Why do you call them both morality? It would be like an explorer from some foreign
It's because of the moistness in the air. The moist air.
Discovered land, arriving here, and at first sight of a cat, he asks me, "What is that?" And after I answer him, he says, "Oh yes, we have cats where I come from too, except they're cold-blooded. They have 6 eyes and wings." At which point you'd be entirely justified in asking him why on earth he calls them cats. If it's entirely different,
those things, those aren't real. Those don't. He's like trying to make the case that they're just calling something a completely different thing, but stuff with 6 eyes and shit doesn't exist. Like, what are you even describing? It's not like you're just mixing up 2 animals. Like, you just say they're saying an animal that. Okay, hold on. We gotta.
Arriving here, and at first sight of a cat, he asks me,
"What is the purpose?"
Different.
I feel like I was talking too much. I'm sorry. I blame Atomic Punk over here with this.
Evidence is entirely fabricated and self-refuting. As G.K. Chesterton pointed out long ago, if two forms of morality are entirely and substantially different, why do you call them both morality? It would be like an explorer from some foreign undiscovered land, arriving here, and at first sight of a cat, he asks me, "What is that?" And after I answer him, he says, "Oh yes, we have cats where I come from too, except they're cold-blooded. They have 6 eyes and wings." At which point you'd be entirely justified in asking him why on earth he calls them cats.
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? So you're saying like if we have 2 different kinds of morality, and if as long as they look different, then it shouldn't even be called morality. So let me guess, just whatever you think is moral and immoral according to your subjective interpretation of what you think your God wants everybody to behave like, that should be called morality. Everything else should be called gorality. Yeah, or poorality. Yeah, poorality. Let's go with the poorality. Yeah, I like that. I was saying, because I think he hates poors too. Probably he hates poor people. You can tell by his chef outfit that he's got going on here, minus the hat. He needs the hat. He needs to go get one of those.
If it's entirely different, then why categorize it as the same thing? While it's true there have always been variations in moral...
Because it's how to behave. That is categorically what it is. It's like whether or not behavior is good or bad. And whether you base that on, what's best for the community or what's best for what you think your religion, or like what you think your God thinks is best for the community. It's still human behavior and whether or not it is good or bad. That is what morality is.
Codes upheld by disparate civilization. There has never been anything like...
Hold on, what is the real definition? Because I'm like, hold on, sorry, I want to see real quick, what is the actual definition of morality? Definition: principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. I was absolutely right. Never mind. Okay, yeah. So yeah, as long as 2 different things, like systems of behavior or whatever, or like what, I don't even know why I have to explain this, but it's just describing the behavior. So it categorically fits as a definition, whether or not you disagree with the basis of the morality. It's still called morality. Well, stupid.
Like a substantial difference. In every case, it has always described a people trying to live in harmony with reality.
Hey, Drusilla, how you doing? What's up?
The variation arises from our own ignorance and varied perception of that reality. Now, that variation doesn't prove there's no reality. and that we somehow construct reality, just that we don't fully understand it. And those differences of understanding,
Wait. What? Sorry.
substantial difference, as it as the same thing. While it's true there have always been variations in moral codes upheld by disparate civilization, there has never been anything like a substantial difference. In every case, it has always described a people trying to live in harmony with reality. The variation arises.
Yeah. It's always described a group of people trying to live in harmony with reality. What the fuck? You mean just with other people, right? Within reality. I feel like just like, okay. Because couldn't a single person live in harmony with reality, and then that wouldn't have anything to do with morality, right? That's because morality has to do with other people, right? Interacting with other people. No?
Arises from our own ignorance and very perception of that reality. And that variation doesn't prove there's no reality and that we somehow construct reality, just that we don't fully understand it. And those differences of understanding are rendered in our cultural beliefs.
Jesus Christ. What are you talking about? Okay. So it's like, that doesn't mean there's no reality. Did anybody say that? That there's no reality?
And the same is true with morality. And furthermore, people like C.S. Lewis and Hans Kung have gone to significant lengths to research and document moral principles that are universally shared throughout the world and throughout history. And it's not a small list. They found that the fundamental moral beliefs of the major civilizations of history affirmed the same things.
Slavery is good because you got good free labor. And oh wait, we all changed our minds about that about 200 years ago.
So even though these obvious contradictions were embedded right within moral relativism, liberalism was still able to march forward, in large part thanks to revolutionary violence, which is what you have to do to advance.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, it was, right? Up top, right? Okay, wow, you're bad at this. How did you miss that? That was right to you.
And such a weak philosophy. And now, today, we are living on the fumes of this failed experiment because liberty or freedom, especially a false one, simply
liberty or freedom, so stupid. People need to be oppressed on purpose by me, really, and then that's where the real true happiness comes in.
Just granted by fiat, by the state, as our highest good. It couldn't preserve itself in that high-ranking position. Something more enticing, something more combative, something that made more audacious promises was bound to replace it as our object of worship, which is how sex took its place.
Wait, sex took freedom's place? Is that what I got? Sex took the concept of liberty's place as to what we worship in the cult that we're totally in. Keep in mind, that's what we're supposed to be. that's what he's supposed to be like tying a bow on at this point, is that we're all in a cult and don't realize it because we just worship sex, and sex replaced liberty, like freedom. Like what the how?
Liberalism had no mechanism to place limits on our sexual desires and impulses. You can't make appeals to the good of children or the good of marriage or the good of society because that depends on identifying some objective good. So at every interval that led us to a
not necessarily like why did like it has to be objective good. If something is good, like how can you have a good and it be objective? Like, I just don't understand that at all. Good is a value judgment. If it's a judgment, it's not objective. It's subjective. Like, I don't. Okay.
a culture financially,
I
psychologically.
mean, unless it's like good math or something like that, where you can be like, no, 2 + 2 = 4. That's a good math. But it's still okay.
Logically and artistically obsessed and dependent upon sex was an appeal to the freedom that liberalism was obligated to grant. If society's better moral intuitions ever tried to place limitations on sexual license, all the perverts had to do was appeal to the god of freedom that liberalism had enshrined in the highest place of honor. That's how we got contraception, then promiscuity.
That's how we got contraception. The damn contraception, being able to just have sex without being forced to have babies all the time. It's ridiculous. What are we even doing here? Why do we have these things?
Then no fault divorce.
Wow. God, you're a piece of shit. Okay. And women could just decide to get divorced. It's just, you know what? Only men should be able to decide to get divorced. Holy shit.
Then unrestricted abortion, then pornography, then same-sex marriage, then gender.
Then pornography. What? How did pornography get in this thing? And that's when people started looking at other people doing stuff. I think that was around for this entire I don't know, but I mean,
affirming therapy, which is where we are today. Liberalism is like a pacifist nation.
Yeah, I mean, it literally is just good therapy due to the outcomes that are demonstrative. That is what is best for the patients. And this is not, this is not stuff that is. It's all based off of evidence. Jesus Christ.
Then unrestricted abortion, then pornography, then same-sex marriage, then gender-affirming therapy.
Gender-affirming therapy. Well, hate it. Ugh. Shut the fuck up.
Which is where we are today. Liberalism is like a pacifist nation. A pacifist nation will eventually be conquered by a rival nation who thinks war is permissible, which is why pacifism will always be extinguished.
Wait. The pacifists are like, we're so pacifist that we actually are fine with war. Actually, you know what? You have the freedom to do war, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm dead. I just died because of the war thing that I said.
Wherever
it doesn't make any sense, man.
It exists, there will always be an aggressor who will take advantage of the pacifists. Liberalism was like that pacifist who had no arms of resistance against the advancing cult of sex.
Wait, I don't understand. So are you the aggressive person in this whole thing? It's like, because people are pacifist, you're the one they're gonna tolerate the oppressor or something? Because Jesus. I don't understand anything.
There will always be an aggressor who will take advantage of the pacifists. Liberalism was like that pacifist who had no arms of resistance against the advancing cult of sex. Liberalism was initially embraced with the understanding that
no arms of resistance against the cult of sex. Jeez, what? My goodness, dude. I don't even know what to do with that. Like, that's just so insane. Like, as if sex is something that has only been appreciated just recently. Before that, everybody was kind of just meh about sex.
Have true freedom, and to have that freedom be protected, we had to protect certain fundamental freedoms, such as
it's a sex cult, and it includes everyone. That's right, everyone that isn't terrified of sex like this weirdo. Is in a sex cult.
Freedom of belief and freedom of speech and freedom of expression.
I got it.
Because if your thoughts and in your words are dictated by someone else, there's no point in talking about other freedoms. And that episode with Charlie Sheen's daughters comes back to mind, because the reason that one sister was denouncing her Christian sister was on the grounds that her Christianity infringed upon the sexual rights of the rainbow alphabet community, and their freedom to do as they please.
No, they actually do, man. See, this is where, okay, so this isn't just about somebody like the OnlyFans thing. And I was gonna say, because I'm like, what are you even saying? Like, so, and she was saying that the OnlyFans daughter, Charlie Sheen's daughter, whatever, was judging the Christian daughter. They were just wagging their finger at the Christian daughter for being too much of a prude. That was kind of like the way that he set it up ahead of time, at the beginning. Now, when he's bringing it back up, now he's like, oh, and she was talking about how, saying it's oppressive the way that they, remove the rights of gay people and the LGBTQIA plus community, like in general. They literally are removing their rights. Yeah, this is not just sort of like, oh, like just like a I don't know, like just not appreciating them or something, or just being judgmental for them. Like, they're literally trying to hurt that community on purpose. Some like states or whatever, like, ban drag shows. it's, I mean, it's like a targeted, like they're literally like arresting people for doing drag shows. Holy shit. But you're just like, oh man, they're just saying that they're being oppressed. Like, no, they're actually oppressing people. And she was like, you shouldn't do that because it's really shitty. It's like if we did the same thing to Christians, they would lose their goddamn gourds.
Was far more important than her sister's freedom to believe in her religion and in a sexuality that dissents from the modern post-sexual revolutionary establishment.
Like they literally banned here in Florida. They basically made it so that you can't even teach that gay people exist, and it's and then they'll pass out felonies if you do to any kid under 3rd grade. Like what the fuck? But yet, it's just not. It's it's for no reason that this OnlyFans person is just wagging their finger at the Christian. Jesus.
So notice how in this modern sex cult, freedom of speech and freedom of religion are conditioned by the jurisdiction of sex, because sex has displaced freedom as our highest good. So if you're looking around bewildered,
freedom to like be who you actually are, like without being legally attacked by the government, just for being like naturally being something that your religion says is evil to just be as a person. My God. And it's like they can't get, but no, it's because we're in a sex cult. That's why we don't like Christians removing the rights of LGBTQI plus folks. For fuck's sake.
at the world that we live in today, wondering, how did we get here? How is our world so screwed up? The origin story of liberalism has a lot to do with it, or maybe everything to do with it, because at the end of the day, what is right and good for us isn't an invention of our own imagination. It's based on a perception of a transcendent reality that runs deeper than the foundations of the world. And until we learn...
No, none of that. And that's why we see that's like people like you that run around here saying that you have the objective good, and then that means passing out felonies because somebody mentioned a gay person to a 2nd grader. That's not that you don't have the good. That's my point. Is that no, you're actually just wrong about it. You're objectively wrong about what you think is objectively moral.
To recognize it and conform ourselves to it, we will continue to suffer the consequences.
Jeez, they can never be happy. They're literally in power right now. They're, and have all 3 branches of government. They are just passing out felonies to teachers. They're doing everything they can to hurt this community perfectly legally. And yet they're still crying about everything. They're just never happy. It's insane. Like the most freaking... they're just the most spoiled people, It's ridiculous. Anyway, what do y'all think about that? That was kind of insane, really. I mean, it was just insane. But I can't imagine why anybody would think alphabet community isn't problematic. Yeah, I agree. It's kind of an irritating thing that people say. Let me see here. See, Umber said it's Earl a mod on his channel now. Wait, is Earl a mod on his channel now? Sheesh. I don't know who Earl is. Who's Earl? Besides somebody that got taken out by the Dixie Chicks, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, DBK said transcendent to what? Deeper than the foundations of the world. Ridiculous over dramatization. Much I know, right? And as long as you say that you're what you want other people to do and not do is from a god, well then everybody just has to do it because it's objective. Okay, hey, it's not me. It's the flying spaghetti monster. All right, the flying spaghetti monsters. He passed down with the noodly appendage and said that not holding Chappie up as the greatest movie of all time is immoral, and it should be free on all the streaming platforms and not have to pay $3.99 for it. What is going on, Prime? Huh? What are you doing? and everything else, YouTube TV. Are you kidding me? Like, why do I have to? Why is every other stupid, crappy movie on all the other streaming platforms? And I mean, Elysium's been on there like how many, like 7 times, and they never put chat. Sorry, I just got it. You know, I gotta getting a little bit irritated about that. But you know, what the fuck? Why did Chappie just disappear? It's like the best movie ever. Anyway, what were we all talking about? We were talking about. So I feel like we were talking about Chappie. All right, no, we weren't. What are we talking about? Okay. Anyway, what do y'all want to watch? Found some of the. I've been watching a lot of debates on this here, to be totally honest, and they're pretty fun. Gotta say. We got Joven, right? Got a Joven debate. He's pretty good. I think he was just on the line the other night, and then we got Justin, of course. You know, the U.S. warns of Iranian retaliation. Iran vows to unalive a bunch of American soldiers, I think is what it says. Which that sucks. You know why? Because I am located. Sorry, I got like a thing right there. But I am located like right where they would hit in Florida. So yeah, sucks, right? Sucks being this close to the place they're likely gonna, you know, they would likely take out. Anyway, what are we doing? Oh, we already watched that. That one just had a bunch of racism. Where are we at here? Does Trump equal the Antichrist? Kirk Cameron has a show that is not on the what do you call it? It's not on the Trinity broadcast thing. So I think we might even be able to watch it without getting in trouble. Is that does anybody know? I hope that's the way it is. But my computer, the thing is supposed to let me know. So let's see. Did anybody say? Did anybody find? I was asking what y'all wanted to watch, and then I just sort of like, we should just watch Chappie. Thank you. Except that I don't have $4 to watch Chappie, and that's how much you have to pay pretty much on every fucking platform. Let's not talk about it. Okay. Let's move on from the Chappie thing. I don't, you know, it's gonna get. I'm all off focus. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna watch one movie for my birthday, and it was nowhere. It was nowhere to be found on anything. Ridiculous.
Please keep writing in questions. Love to read your comments. It's so encouraging for me and James. James, what do we got?
Okay. The first question says, Kirk.
Who the hell is James? And he is way too excited to be here. He is the first question. Thank you, Kirk. The first question actually is, you're never going to believe this.
Why are we American citizens who did not personally create or even acquire anything from...
Don't bite on your glasses like that, John. You know, I know what you're trying to do. Okay, trying to look smart. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, Kirk. Okay.
The creation of the national debt responsible for work to help pay it back.
He's having trouble getting there. You know.
That's kind of a good question.
I know.
Why are we, who didn't create the debt, this was our grandfathers and great-great-great-great-grandfathers, and well, not even them. I mean, we could say that it was the bureaucrat politicians who've been spending too much money. This is their problem. Why should we inherit that debt?
Oh my God, this is like the most libertarian. That was an Ayn Rand fan that just wrote that fucking question. And you know, it's like, why do we have to pay tax for the idiots that got the debt? That I don't even know. They're dead. They're dead. They don't even exist anymore. Not going to pay off their freaking debt.
Well, because we're citizens of the United States.
Oh yeah, actually, did. I hate it when I agree with Kirk Cameron here, but yeah, you know, that's kind of how things work.
I mean, we could just like say, okay,
do you like hospitals?
Let's just have all of our creditors just call the debts right now, and we just go bankrupt. I mean, we're like $32 trillion in debt, so that's an option. Let's just have China and other places confiscate the country and take it over. It's kind of like the way a bank would repo your car if you didn't pay off the debt.
Yeah, China will just show up and start repoing the country. You know, they're just gonna What, man? Like, what are they going to put up caution tape? Be like, this is ours now. Sorry, no, you got to go around. Got to go around. It's going to be one hell of a detour because this is our country now. We got the whole thing.
So I think the better option is we as a country, which we didn't build either, but I'm benefiting from the country that my great-grandfathers built, and that
it was probably slaves. Slaves didn't, and yet you don't want to ever pay any reparations to them. But that's neither here nor there.
Politicians have run, good or bad, and you got to take the good with the bad. And part of that is learning how to manage money correctly. Don't spend more than
go fuck yourself
you make. And when you are in debt, make sure that it's wise debt and that you have a plan to pay it back. So I would say, no, let's.
The fuck is wise debt? Is that? So, don't do it on something stupid. Okay. I don't want to see like Skittles debt. All right. Because you just went to Circle K too much, or went to Circle K so often that you had to start a credit card.
Let's pay off the debt because we continue to enjoy the benefits that we've also inherited from those who were here before us.
All right. The next question is a comment that was left on a previous episode. And this person said, "Hey, Kirk, maybe it just came out wrong, but Jesus did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it."
Is that a question? I don't this seems like there was some context that was neat. What did he just not? I feel like this is like, oh, we don't have enough questions for this segment. Let's just take a comment from the last one, and it literally had a bunch of context to it and was like, maybe it just came out wrong. Okay, Mr. Cameron, I'm sorry. But Jesus did say, but Jesus did not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it.
Oh, yes, correct. Jesus did say that. He said, "I did not come to destroy the law. I came
to fulfill the law." You had to look it up.
Fill it. Here, we got it in Matthew chapter 5.
And to make moms hate their daughters and dads hate their kids and step brothers fighting step parents and everything in between.
In 6, he said, "Don't misunderstand why I have come. I did not come to abolish the law of Moses or the writings of the prophets."
I fell victim to Skittles, Dad. I know. I get it. Okay. They're good. They're good, all except for those damn yellow ones. Who eats the fucking yellow? Those things are terrible. The only thing worse than those are a yellow starburst. You know what I'm saying?
Prophets. He says, "No, I came to accomplish their purpose. In fact, I tell you the truth, until heaven and earth disappear."
Yeah, he gets serious when he puts the glass. That's when he shifts gears.
Disappear. Not even the smallest detail of God's law will disappear until its purpose is achieved. And its purpose has been achieved.
Oh, that's that's their interpretation is, no, we don't have to make days sacred anymore and stuff. We don't have to follow all that crap because Jesus said it is finished. I bet you money that's what he's about to say. Jesus said it is finished, paid in full. They always say that too.
Now, there's different aspects of God's law. You have moral law, you have civil law, you have religious temple ceremonial traditions, laws like you have laws like don't mix your fabrics like your wool and your cotton.
Yeah, which we all know is probably the most hurtful thing that you could do to people that make coats, I guess. They're like, don't do that. Don't you dare be mixing fab. That is just disrespectful. I have a wool company and I just can't stand to see people when they're just mixing stuff like that.
Don't eat shellfish, things like that.
That would make sense just because a bunch of people got sick. They're like, let's write it down. Maybe we should write it down. Just stop. We're not, no more fucking shellfish. Okay. Because nobody's gotten any work done. As soon as, Toby brought in the crab, now everybody's throwing up. No more shellfish. All right. We're writing this down.
Sacrifice bulls and goats. But those things were all pointing, the scriptures say, to a fulfillment in Jesus Christ, who becomes the once and for all blood sacrifice.
I don't know why it's funny, but it just is. Just being like blood magic. That's right. Yes. I have a straight face while I'm talking about blood magic. That's right.
He then becomes our high priest. And we don't need that old brick and mortar temple anymore, because now we are the temple of God with Jesus as the chief cornerstone. And we are like living stones forming a temple indwelled by the Holy Spirit, right? So in a sense, Jesus says, I came to fulfill the law, not to contradict it, not to destroy it, but he also came as the fulfillment and said, it is finished. Remember.
Oh, there. Hey, all right. I was like, maybe he's not going to say it. No, he said it. We got there. I was right.
Jesus.
He has basically my exact doctrine, it seems, that I was raised with. So it's interesting to me to always like hear him talk about stuff, because it's just so like, I know almost everything he's going to say before he says it.
Did in essence destroy the old system to make room for the new. And here he's talking about covenants. Remember, he said that temple, which is the summary and representation of the whole old covenant. And he said that temple is going to be destroyed, and not one stone is going to be left standing on another. Listen to what he says here in
He looks like he's about to poke himself in the eye. Don't poke yourself in the eye again. All right, we've done that 6 times. We keep having to do takes because I keep on poking myself in the eye with my glass. Hold on, what?
Representation of the whole old covenant. And he said that temple is going to be destroyed, and not one stone is going to be left standing on another. Listen to what he says here in.
He closes his eyes before he puts them on. He's like, as he is so terrified of just taking an eye out. He's taking it up. He's putting an eye out with those things like it's a BB gun.
In Hebrews, where he talks about these covenants, where he says, referring.
Hey, what's up, Mikey? How we doing, dude?
The old system.
John, how we doing, John?
Of laws and requirements with regard to pleasing God. He says they serve in a system of worship that is only a copy. It's a shadow of the real one in heaven. And then he goes on to say, if the first covenant had been faultless, there would have been no need for a second covenant.
Jessica, hey, Jessica, how you doing? Said, fulfill equals, I think, means or is defined as, to bring into complete wholeness, right? So not, doesn't mean what I think he's about to say it means.
To replace it. But when God found fault with the people, he said, a day's coming when I'll make a new covenant, and it won't be like the old one. He said, this is a new covenant, and I'll put my law in their minds, and I'll write them on their hearts. I'll be their God, and they'll be my people. So Jesus said.
That's why nobody could tell that, it was so bad to just be unaliving people and genocide and all that type of stuff. Nobody could tell that that was wrong back then because it hadn't been etched into our hearts yet. That's why we needed Jesus to die.
That which is old is wearing out, it's fading away, it's becoming obsolete, and it makes way for the new covenant.
But he just said, I did not come to abolish the old law. That is literally, it's so weird when they're like, oh no, they say the opposite of what Jesus is saying there. That he's like, I did not come to abolish it, but to fulfill it. And I tell you the truth, that every jot and tittle should remain the same until the heavens and the earth disappear, yada, yada, whatever, paraphrasing. And then he's like, okay, but what about all this other stuff? Okay. That's what he's saying. Should I stop? That's fine. All right. You grab his stuff. Shit, I lost track of what I was saying. Oh, but he was saying like it's fine. You can get your stuff. Yeah. We have my nephew staying with us, so he's got his stuff. He's staying in the studio, so he just got to get his stuff. Are you okay if I'm yelling about stuff behind you? You all right? He said it's fine. Is it okay with y'all? You okay with the? No, they're mad about it. They said that you need to get out of here. Sorry,
Oh,
bud.
well, they can
Sorry.
cry about it.
Yeah. They can cry about it.
That's the old covenant that is being removed, and that was physically removed with the destruction of the temple in AD 70, and the new has come in. I like to think of it also as someone.
That was my point. Is he's like rationalizing around everything. He's doing everything he can to say that the words on the page don't say what the words on the page say. He's saying like, oh no, I know Jesus said that's not what he's doing, but if you think about it, that is what he's doing because of all this other stuff. Remember, he said it is finished on the cross. So, boom. What do it's got to be. It's got to be that way.
Who's engaged to their girlfriend. You're now a fiance.
I'm sorry. I guess I paused it in a weird spot. What?
D70, and the new has come in. I like to think of it also as someone who's engaged to their girlfriend. You're now a fiance, and there is an expectation that you're going to get married, and there's all sorts of expectations and rules that govern your engagement, and that is you're faithful, you're honest, you're pure. The marriage bed's going to be undefiled.
I'm so confused as to this is a metaphor for what now? For just being a Christian? You have expectations because you're about to get married?
But once you get married, you're not still keeping all of those same rules that were preparing you for marriage. There's new freedom in marriage with your loved one, but it doesn't contradict the old principles. You're still keeping the marriage bed pure, and you're not committing adultery, and all sorts of other things.
Oh, wow. Okay. No, that doesn't make any. What? It's still not the same. Like you wouldn't be defiling the bed. Okay. I'm not even going to entertain this ridiculous metaphor to break it down.
So it's
so incoherent. It doesn't even require, a debunking.
Fulfillment of everything the first was pointing to, but you're no longer still living in the old. You are enjoying the point of the old, which was to bring you into the new.
What's up, Joy? How we doing?
And for us, that's referring to the new covenant, and Jesus did that. All right, next question.
They do. Next question. Rando online. That's pretty good. Said they love their human sacrifice. They really do. It's creepy. It's actually quite creepy. And it just is. Human sacrifice is always weird. It's weird. Always.
All right. The next question is
I've never heard of any normal human sacrifice. If that's, it's like it's this guy. Oh no, we're just out there sacrificing some humans, It's just what we do on Fridays.
from somebody who says, my pastor thinks that Trump could be the Antichrist. Do you?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Is Trump the Antichrist or what? He checks all the boxes. So, look, there's a little tiny Jesus on this microphone. Oh, it's adorable. I like that. I need to get one of those. I didn't know they made microphone Jesuses,
No, I don't think Trump is the Antichrist. The word Antichrist is in the Bible a couple of times.
Weird, crazy. Don't poke your eye with the glasses, man. Make sure you're supposed to squint like a weirdo as you put them on. But weird that you don't think that Trump is the Antichrist. It's like, no, of course not. It's Obama. Okay, God, hello. I mean, it says that he comes from the East. So,
and if I were to ask you to tell me where you think it is, where do you think the word Antichrist is? Most people think that it's in the book of Revelation because that's the book that's got all of the crazy man of lawlessness, 666, mark of the beast, Antichrist. But actually,
no, that just has a bunch of small bone or the small horn that takes over the other horn. It uses every word except for Antichrist for some reason.
You're not going to find it there. You're going to find it in 1 John. And in 1 John, it talks about the person who says that Jesus Christ did not come in the flesh. He is Antichrist. So it's not the Antichrist, like it's one guy. It's the spirit John talks about of Antichrist. Anyone who says Christ did not come in the flesh. And he says, and there are many Antichrists, and the spirit of Antichrist is already here. John wrote this 2,000 years ago.
What? In the spirit of Antichrist. Okay, whatever. But when we talk about the Antichrist, it's like a person, specifically a person in Revelation that conquers the world and makes a statue of himself and puts it right in the middle of Israel and says that he's the king of Israel. Gee, how is it not Trump again?
So this is not talking about a political figure today. I don't believe. I believe this is talking about those who deny Christ and who he is, that he is God incarnate. And the spirit of that kind of individual is around today for sure. And it was also around 2,000 years ago, proliferating in those first century days.
So his answer to the question, is Trump and the Antichrist? His answer to that question is, no, I don't think there is going to be an Antichrist. Really? That's the answer to that question. What? How do you not believe that there's going to be actual, like, a dude who is the Antichrist, that is the man of lawlessness, that makes a statue of himself just before the angels come out and blow a bunch of trumpets and turn the sky, the sun black or whatever, and the moon red, which there's a mist, there's a red mist accumulating on the moon, by the way. I don't know, scientists have discovered this, and they said that the moon is going to be fully red by the time in the future, at some point, and then Revelation's real. Okay.
Where heresy was undermining the Christian faith. Next question.
The opportunity. What did I because of lawlessness and the lawless sex with the toys from AdamandEve.com. That doesn't really go, Ember. I don't know why you would use that part to say that was a segue. It just doesn't really feel like it goes then. But whatever. Anyway, AdamandEve.com. Enter code word Brentley and check out. And you can be as lawless as you want with those toys. And you don't have to follow any Mormon rules at all. It's just you can break all religions' rules actually with the products from AdamandEve.com. You should do it actually on purpose, right? Just keep a list of all of the religions and their rules that you are breaking with the lawlessness that you are doing with the products from AdamandEve.com. Anyway, I don't think Ember was expecting me to do all this for that. Go to AdamandEve.com, enter code word Brentley at checkout. Get your butt some stuff. Okay.
Next question.
Yeah, there was a 12-year-old in the room. I didn't really want to do any ads while the 12-year-old's getting his stuff. You know what I mean?
Is Kirk, do you like contemporary or traditional
Like, hey, why aren't you doing any ads? That's why. Come on, what do you?
music at church? So I guess that would be like hymns compared to a rock concert.
I like both. I feel like I've expanded my palette musically. I can tell you what I prefer, and it tends to be different depending on where the situation where I am. We talked about this in that previous dangerous conversation we had about the power and effect of music on us.
The dangerous conversation. Remember that conversation? Almost took my head off. Okay. It got a little bit too serious, got a little too real. You know what I mean? So
when I'm in church, I like me a good Chris Tomlin song. I
like me a good Chris Tomlin, man. Oh boy, that Tomlin, he gets it.
The hymns. I find if I had to pick or choose, I think I'd go with the hymns because hymns are theologically rich. They remind me of the gospel and point me to the glory of God. And
so they want that resurrection to happen so they can live in white heaven for the rest of eternity. Is that it? It's divided by race. Of course it is divided by race. And you're like, that's like that's my heaven, that's for sure. All the southern flags and everything, we get our own little heaven there. That's right. We get our own drinking fountains and everything.
I need for his grace. Whereas, love me, God. You're my daddy. You're my good father. I love Chris Tomlin. I love so many of these modern worship songs, but there's a reason why hymns have lasted 500 years.
Yeah, y'all keep singing them. They suck, dude. Like, they're not actually good, man. And the chords don't even make sense. Like, it's one of the, you ever notice that, like, when you hear people like playing guitar to hymns, the chords don't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like back in usually you have like a 4-chord like progression that sort of like starts over after you get to the fourth chord, and then it keeps on looping around, and you get like it's none of that. It's just like just from one chord back to a different, go back to that chord, hold on that chord another time, hold on that chord another time, and hold on that chord one more time, and then switch back to the other chord. It's madness. No, it's because it's completely written for the vocal line. It's ridiculous.
The reason why the Psalms in the Bible, which are war chants and songs of praise and thanksgiving to God,
how did war chants get in there? Jesus, like war chants and human sacrifice. Man, we love that stuff.
Lasted for thousands of years, and we're still reading the lyrics today. It's because they're deep, they're rich, they connect us throughout the generations. It brings historical integrity, and there is just...
It brings historical integrity? What the hell are you talking about? What? Why? I don't... Okay.
There's something beautiful in the poetry of psalms and hymns and spiritual songs.
Psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs.
Having said that, I've got a great Maverick City song that I'm playing in my car right now. But if I had to pick or choose,
is it the Danger Zone? That's my favorite Maverick song. But I think we're thinking of two different Mavericks.
I would go with something that inspires a sense of awe and gratitude and reverence.
I agree.
Oh, that was it. That was a short one. Okay. I don't want to play the music. I get in trouble with music. So, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go, how much time we got left? Okay, we got like 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so. Until I start to get tired. That's just usually my cutoff is about 2 hours, right? So let's look at home, and then let's just see, based on what we just spent time watching David Silverman on Jesse Peters. Of course, he went on Jesse. Oh my God, that guy sucks. Jesus Christ. What the hell is happening? I walked out, but he was on a stream that I was supposed to be on. I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Not gonna be on this stream. And the saddest thing was, it was a relationship stream where they were like, hey, let's talk about, how relationships work. The guy that's like got a bunch of allegations of assault, nope, I'm gonna leave. I'm just gonna leave. Sorry. Jesus. What the fuck? Anyway, all right. So where are we at here? Breaking. Trump in Situation Room as Iraq hits U.S. military in Qatar. Jesus. I not really. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, Kirk does the weather. See, this is the one I can't watch. Never mind. That's the one where we get dinged. We get dinged for copyright or whatever, because it's on the TBN. That's a television network, and I can't watch that. But here, let's do this one. We're kind of on a Kirk kick. Is that cool? Y'all all right with that? I don't know. I don't know if y'all hated the last segment, but Kirk reacts to Juneteenth and Cliff Connecticut, the Kirk Cameron show clips.
And we're going to react to them and discuss them. What do you got, James?
The first video I have is a video from a Christian apologist named Cliff.
That's James Cameron? Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I didn't know that his kid made all those movies. That is amazing. Dude, what a great director, gotta say. Avatar was just okay. Actually, it was not really the best. I kind of like the Terminator. I don't know. I can't remember which one. I think it was Terminator, right?
And he is debating in a college campus.
I'm saying, why do I need religion? Because
you don't.
You say
you do not need religion.
You say Christian is the best. The Muslim guys say Islam is the best, and whoever has its religion say that's the best. You should follow this because this is the best. Why should I follow any religion?
You should do not follow religion. Follow Jesus Christ, not religion.
Don't follow religion. Just be in love with the central character of one. We don't like the words that describe who we are.
Religion has been used to justify the Crusades, the Inquisition, the Salem witch trials, enslaving African Americans. I think you'd be an idiot to follow religion. Jesus.
No, the love of Jesus Christ has been the basis for all those things.
Jesus Christ is totally different from religion.
So you would just
Oh,
follow a guy.
I would follow God. I would follow Jesus Christ. Yes, sir. If you think I'm going to follow American Christianity, no way. I'd be a fool to follow American Christianity. To follow Jesus Christ, that's radically different. Totally different. To follow Jesus Christ has nothing to do with being a Republican, has nothing to do with being a Democrat. It has to do with following God, following Christ. That's the bottom line.
God, he looks terrifying. Could you imagine like seeing that face in your bedroom in the middle of the night, right next to your bed? You're getting up to pee, just like look over it, boom, there's that face. Wow, that's terrifying.
Jesus talked about the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, called people to follow him.
Come on, Cliff. I love that guy. He's so great.
Wow, that sounded so half-hearted. Like it sounded like hold on, let's see that one. Come on, Cliff. Man, I love that guy. That's like...
God following Christ. That's the bottom line. Jesus talked about the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven, called people to follow him.
Come on, Cliff. I love that guy. He's so great. James.
Guy, it's not like he's like trying so hard to be like, I've seen other reaction shows with people that get like, come on, yeah, what?
What do you think of him? I mean, as a guy who is
George son, you just explained it perfectly, Bern. I know there's many different types of people in the church now, but I'm just talking about the original doctrine. It had bigoted undertones. I grew up in it. It definitely. I mean, religion period has bigoted undertones. I mean, just like I always bring up, like the first commandment is don't have any other gods. That is just bigotry. That is just, you're immoral if you're different. You're immoral if you're any culture that's not ours, just out the gate. Not that like, oh, they need Christ Jesus or whatever. That's the moral law. They're literally immoral for being different. That's just racism.
just kind of at college age. What do you think of him?
I think he's awesome. I think it's really cool that he speaks
Would you say the same stuff if your dad wasn't right in the room here?
the truth out loud, is not afraid to share what he believes. And
not silently in his head.
I actually agree with him that our faith is not built upon the American Christian church. It's built on Jesus himself.
Yeah, that's right. And the scriptures say that. It says that it's actually built on the apostles as the true foundation. And then Jesus Christ himself is the chief cornerstone that sets the...
None of this means anything. It's so weird that they're trying to... You know what it is? It's just that, like you were saying, all this bad stuff has been because the church, was involved, whatever, like the Crusades and slavery and all this other stuff. And so they got to try to distance themselves from it. And so they think if they're like, it's not the label of religion. Oh no, that's Christianity, the religion. I'm talking about Christianity, the relationship with Jesus. And it just gets them out of all of that. Like, oh, those people that did all the slavery and crusade stuff and burning witches and all that, they were religious. They were part of the religion. It's like, dude, it's all the same thing. You're just trying so hard to find any way to not be associated or under the same umbrella of the religion with those people. And it's you have to do it by redefining terms.
The angles and the structure for the entire temple of God. And we are stones that are making up that holy household of God, filled by his Holy Spirit. So you're right. And Cliff is right. We follow Jesus Christ, not a religious system. Jesus came to actually destroy the religious system that he and God the Father had created in terms of old covenant Judaism.
What?
Because it had become so corrupted. What? Now, of course, there were people of true faith.
The perfect, all-powerful God created a system that just got too goddamn corrupted. What do you... and so he's like, you know what I got to do? The perfect religion that I created got corrupted. I got to sacrifice myself to myself. That'll fix it. And then it won't be corrupted anymore.
Faith there. And these are believing Jews that ultimately come into the new covenant people of God. But the religious system had become so perverted and so twisted that he called them whitewashed tombs. He called them wolves. He called them children of Satan. And when his disciples asked him, where are you going? What's the way? How do we get to heaven? He said, you know the way. He says, I am the way. I am the truth, not the system, not the temple, not the traditions. I am the truth. I am the way. Follow me, not a set of moral precepts or religious traditions.
Oh my God. Yeah, except that they took the things that he said and started a bunch of moral traditions and religious rituals. And I mean, the Last Supper is a religious ritual, man. It's so weird, but he's like, it's not all this religious ritual stuff until we make the religious rituals that we do, the good ones. It's different.
And I love that. I love that he said that.
I love that.
And to the degree that we can all get back to
I know, that's funny.
The principles of Jesus, then we will actually understand who God is and what he's done for us and how we should respond to him. All right.
Explaining the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I think he is, makes better sense. That makes better sense than the actual thing I think he's explaining here.
Next video.
The next video we have
Next video, please. Next.
is a video that has to do with Juneteenth. That's coming up
He's like, oh gosh. Oh, Juneteenth.
on June 19th. And this is one person's take of how white people should be acting on Juneteenth. Take a look.
Juneteenth is the celebration of the emancipation of Black American people that were enslaved. So it is for Black Americans to be celebrated by Black Americans. When white people ask me what they can do to embrace this holiday, I ask the same question: what about you as a white person? Or what can you embrace about this holiday as a white person? What about this holiday says to you as a white person, I should celebrate this, I should embrace this? Even as a non-American, it's a good question for a white person to ask themselves. This holiday is also a good reminder. It's a good reminder, especially for white people, that not everything is for you, and that's okay. If you want to know how to recognize the holiday and acknowledge the holiday, pay a Black person. Whether it's a Venmo, a PayPal, a Cash App, whether you shop from their store, whether
Look how offended he is. Pay a Black person? No. Okay, they need to earn it. They need to take responsibility. Okay, all right. They're partially to blame in all this. Okay, they're not perfect. All right, but I gotta pay. You know what? I hate these.
whether you invest in them through way of Patreon or something else, pay Black people. You have to think, we're celebrating our Freedom Day, our emancipation from being enslaved, and we have yet to receive any type of reparations for the many, many, many centuries that we were enslaved and considered property of people and less than human beings. Simply put, this is a great time to put your money where your mouth is.
It's like, okay, what am I going to say here to not sound racist while also being racist?
It seems so hard to even talk about race today because, like we had mentioned earlier, I think that there are those who are looking to freeze anything you say. You could be white, you could be Black, but if you want to try to actually do something about the race problem and not perpetuate it, they want to freeze it and then call you either a traitor or that you're racist. So no, I will not be Venmoing any of my friends this month based on the color of their skin. I don't believe that the descendants of sinners have to pay for the sins of their ancestors.
That's weird, because isn't that what the book says that you have your hand on right here? That book. That's the, didn't it say that you got to do that?
Next video.
That's it. No, it's I'm done. I just said the thing. No is my answer to that. And shame on you for telling me, the white person, what to do on Juneteenth. Shame on you. Okay. God damn, dude. He's the worst.
All right, this next video is by a guy named Jeffrey Marsh, and he is talking about...
That was the shortest. It's so funny. That was so short. Like all the other, every other like reaction to the clip, he's got like, 30 minutes of shit to say. But when it comes to like, hey, a Black content creator being like, you know what you should do on Juneteenth? Pay black people, you know, or just like, and as far as I can take like from that is like, yeah, you could Venmo a friend or whatever, right? Or like a content creator, or go shop at a black owned business or something like that, right? But kind of because like he didn't even talk about what Juneteenth was at all, which he could have elaborated on the fact that, you know, even though they were legally free, black people were free after the Civil War, they just didn't. You know, slave owners were like, yeah, but no, though. Yeah, but no. I'm just not going to do that until finally I think it was like the military came. We're like, yeah, the fuck you are. And they're like, okay, fine. And that was on June 19th, way after the Civil War had ended and they had gotten their freedom. And that's the type of shit they've been dealing with this entire time. Every single time there's some kind of step forward, they get knocked back. And we're kind of experiencing that right now. But it's kind of funny that he had like zero to say about it. Holy shit.
Disowning your family if they voted for Trump, and if that is okay or not. Take a look.
Hi.
Let me guess. No, it's not okay.
Should you cut off contact?
You only disown people if they are gay. Yeah, then it's okay.
With family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump? Yes. If so far they have not been able or willing to listen to compassion, to listen to kindness, to listen to you, or even to do their own research and discover that hatred's not the...
Don't tell them to do their own research. Just any other word. Just don't tell them to do their own research. That's someone that they'll come back and be like, did you know the earth is fucking flat? Yeah. And there's lizard aliens in charge of the government. With the Illuminati. It's just crazy. They're Jewish lizards, apparently. I don't know. I saw it on a David Icke thing.
Answer that love and kindness is the answer. If they are unwilling to change, they must experience consequences. And you should not withhold those consequences from them. The consequence in this case would be they don't get your beautiful, loving, wonderful presence in their lives.
I mean, I would say that usually when it comes to like Trump supporters, it's not that it's just that they support Trump. It's not like, you know, I wouldn't do this if it was just some random politician or whatever. It's just usually the people that support that guy, nobody wants to be around those people anyway. You know, they're kind of assholes, you know, since the dude campaigned on like kicking a bunch of people out of the country, and you know, now he's doing it without any due process, kidnapping people, throwing them out, some of which are just Americans, you know, that that were just a bit too brown and with too thick of an accent, and so they get shipped out too, without any due process and everything. Like, if that's the type of person that votes for, I mean, the type of people that vote for that sort of thing, they're just people that nobody wants to be around anyway. So yeah, it's you know, it's hard to find nice Trump supporters. You know what I mean? But anyway, but yeah, no, I agree.
It's over, and they are gone. You need to make it real for yourself.
I really like the bow. You got the bow going on, like it's like tied in the bow like that. It's kind of cool. I think I'm going to do that on the next side. I got a hoodie with the strings that come out like that.
He needs help.
Wow, that was just uncomfortable silence here, man. You can edit some stuff out, man. Seems like you have the capabilities.
Help, clearly, just on the face.
Oh, sorry, I was talking.
He needs help, clearly, just on the face of his video.
It's quite the blouse he has.
Quite the blouse.
God, I knew it. I was like $10 says they're not even gonna listen to what they're saying because too gay, too LGBTQIA plus to listen to. I couldn't pay attention through all the the LGBTQIA plusness of it all. I can't listen to.
This is the result of the belief by many within the LGBTQ plus IA community that if you don't,
I mean, kudos for saying it right. Credit's due, I guess.
Agree with their beliefs, that is violence against them. And that's why.
No, maybe the removal of their health care is violence against them. I don't know. Maybe when something leads to harm against a group of people and they have a medication that like helps keep them from that harm, and you go, you can't have that medication. That's violence, man.
This guy is saying so emphatically.
It's like me banning insulin or something, and then being like, they act like people that believe that folks shouldn't have insulin, like it's violence or something. Jesus Christ.
That even if your family members, your mom and your dad, who gave you life, your friends, if they go against my value system, they are now dead to you. Cut them off. They're gone. This is why we can no longer have respectful, helpful conversations about politics and religion. The only two subjects that matter. What do you got next?
All right.
That was it. Okay. Doing a lot of short ones this time, I guess. No, dude, if they're toxic, and again, like typically, I'm just saying, I guess not all Trump supporters or whatever. I mean, I'm sure maybe there's some, but I wouldn't call people that like grit their teeth and vote for Trump supporters. I mean, like Trump supporters, you know what I mean? I don't think they're, those folks typically they're like not nice. Just saying, kind of dumb, right? And usually value cruelty, right? There's no other way to say it. They value cruelty. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to be around those people, and I don't judge anybody that doesn't want to be around those people either, So, but if you have toxic family, and you literally, I don't think people realize how difficult and like how traumatic it can be going back around family, especially if you've dealt with trauma because of family, and it just kicks all those traumas right back up. And so if people don't want to be around their family because of shit like that, like I totally get it. Like, yeah, just, create your own family, have a chosen family, right? Because I totally understand not, wanting to be triggered like that all the time, right?
Up next, they have officially changed the alphabet song because LMNOP was being confused by some kids as one letter.
Oh, because it's so fast. LMNOP.
Yeah, take a look.
Yeah, I gotta say, I stand by this. I think this is a great idea. I thought Elemento was a letter till I was like 17. Yeah, I was homeschooled. Okay, so it took a long time to get through letters.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
I'm gonna get a copyright. All right, just because of this, right? The alphabet song person just sitting back making all the bucks, just getting all the copyright claims. They're like, "You singing my song? Give me money."
LMNO.
Are you fucking serious?
What?
O-P.
Why would you try to sing right at the time when you know it's not going to be the same? What are you doing, Kirk? Hold on, let's do that again.
E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N.
What?
O, P, Q, R, S, T, U.
Oh my gosh.
V, W, X,
This is terrible.
Y, Z.
That's awful.
That's awful because it's slightly different and actually less confusing. I hate it. I hate anything that's not exactly everything that I'm familiar with specifically.
Never thought of that.
Also, who
Has anyone
genuinely has been confused
Right.
by LMNOP?
Right, that's
before?
right.
That's my
right.
question.
Right.
A lot of people, dude, what? Jesus Christ. Okay, man. No, there's a lot of kids that are confused by that because it is so fast. Like that was the part of the song where it was clear back then. They were like, I don't know, can we just shove like 7 in right there? Just put like 7 words all or 7 letters just all in one little spot like that. Yeah. The kids they'll sing right past it. It won't be confusing at all. Like, no, it really does confuse the kids, man. Like, what are you talking about? Holy shit. Let's see. Jordan said, I can't imagine making it easier for immigrants to learn English. That's really what it is right there. They don't like it being too easy. They want it to be hard. And if you want it to be hard, you know what I mean? Oh, go to adamandeve.com. That's right. Go to adamandeve.com and enter code word Brentley at checkout to get 50% off almost any one item. 6 free movies, 3 free gifts, and free shipping on the whole order. Go to adamandeve.com. Enter that code word Brentley. adamandeve.com is America's #1 adult toy dispensary. Save yourself a trip to that sticky store and get your butt some stuff. Okay. Also, if you want to hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. It just, just helps in general, sort of, it's kind of a thing that helps those of us that do this sort of thing.
Do not
for a living. I don't do it for a living, but it is fun though.
Confusing that with like alopecia.
I'd love to at some point. Hold on.
Whoever thought of that?
Also, who
has anyone
genuinely has been confused by LMNOP?
Right, that's right.
That's my question.
Right, they're not confusing that with like alopecia. It's LMNOP. We all got through it, and we all know, hopefully, how to spell. This is why I think, look at the whole
I don't know, man. You can't tell that, like, the difference between a talking donkey being reasonable to believe and demonstrative science like evolution. So I don't feel like you got permission to say anything to anyone about anything about intelligence. Okay.
American education system. I mean, kids are coming out of high school not knowing how to read.
Yeah, it's almost weird when like Republicans break everything and then turn around and go, look how stupid the public school system is. It sucks. It's like it doesn't even work after we defund the fuck out of it. Yeah, you fucking...
We're scoring like lowest bottom of the barrel when it comes to proficiency in math and reading and writing.
And it's like you vilify... just got interrupted by something.
I don't think it's going to get fixed by changing...
Oh, okay. I guess that's like his outro. They vilify education. Like a lot. Like, you don't need no damn education. Okay, all you need is a little Jesus Christ. Okay, that's what you need. And you can just, if you don't use it, when are you ever going to use algebra, bro? Okay, never. That's when. It's like, my God, I just had to have this conversation with somebody else for like the 30th time. I'm just like, dude, it doesn't matter if your kids are going to use it or not. Your brain is a fucking muscle, man. Like, don't. You're encouraging kids to be like, yeah, you don't need to use muscles that you're not going to use or whatever, if you're not going to specifically use it on that. Like, it helps kids learn to figure things out as their brain is developing. It's so important for them to be able to like figure other shit out later. It's not just about that thing that you're figuring out. It's about being able to figure things out in general. That's it. Anyway. All right. Hey, thank you all so much for hanging out. This was super fun. I actually had a good time with this one, to be honest. It was just nice and random, yet the show, the videos that we picked, pretty fun, right? I kind of like Kirk Cameron stuff. I never usually get to react to his because it's usually on that damn television network, and I always get dinged. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. But I kind of think it won't because this is his podcast. It's on YouTube, right? And those are usually fun. Anyway, all right, y'all. Like I said, hitting that like button, I'd appreciate it. That'd be great. Just any clicks you can spare, right? I'd really appreciate it. Also, make sure that you're going to BajaCon. If you're not going to BajaCon, you're stupid and wrong, okay? Because or poor, and I get that one. That one's fine if you're poor, and that's why you're not going. Fine, but all other reasons you're wrong. Okay, go to BajaCon. Everybody's going to be there. It's awesome. It's got Forrest. You got Seth Andrews. You got John Gleason is not on the poster for some reason, but he's going to be there, and so is KC. Just a bunch of folks, right? You got Gutsick Gibbon. It's gonna be there. Everybody. So yeah, go check it out. It's good stuff. Also, I am being considered honest. Well, I've got like provisional credentials at the Creator Accountability Network, which is a network for creators, so that we can keep our community safe, right? So if I have harmed you, or someone that you know, or my content has harmed you, please file a report on their Creator Accountability Network.org, or you can call their hotline at 617-249-4255. They are also looking for volunteers. It takes a lot to run this organization, and it's a really important organization. So if you believe in this sort of thing, keeping our community safe, head over, sign up. There's tons of stuff you can do to help. Also, you can donate money, because I think they need that stuff too. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Creator Accountability Network.org. It's a really great thing that we've that we're all that I am promoting, because I'm part of it. And so don't hesitate to call or to sign up. It's a really great organization. All right. And hey, if you want to support this show, you can support us by supporting our sponsor, adamandeve.com, or you could do a bunch of other shit, right? You can go to patreon.com/punkapostate, and that is a way basically just to support the show if you don't want to go through YouTube, and I totally understand that. Or you can go to Cash App if you want to just do a one-time thing on Cash App. Totally appreciate that as well. It's just that way you don't have to have something coming out of your account every month. Totally get it. Or you can become a member here, and that's kind of where you get the most benefits, gonna be honest, because they got live streams that are just for members. You can if some of these live streams go straight to members after they're done being live, so you get access to all of those, and you get the pre-recorded content. You get that early, and there's pre-recorded content that is made just for members. So a lot of good stuff. So just become a member. Just do it. Just hit the join button. Okay. See, now a bunch of people are like not going to do it because I did that. It's like a bunch of people that are members. Like, I'm not being a member anymore. I'm out. I'm out of here. Do you hear how weird he's asked for people to be members? No. God. And anyway, you can email me at punkapostate@gmail.com. And you can join our Discord, which we will have the link in the description. So, and you can follow me on all the socials. I go on social media rarely, but I do go here and there, but I guess not as often as I'm supposed to as a human. I don't know. Anyway. All right. But again, hey, thank you all so much for hanging out. This was super fun. Really do appreciate it. And remember to make sure to stay logical, loving, skeptical, and compassionate. And we will see you next time.